Hello, epic viewers from around the world. Prepare to indulge in experiencing sheer bliss, because today another riveting, captivating, stellar unboxing video is about to be brought to fruition. What item will I be unboxing? What item will I be opening? Without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to elicit the box. What item is encompassed inside this bulky, hefty, tangible, nifty box? Let's find out. I'm going to demystify the answer to that inquiry right here, right now, so bear with me. It will only take me billions of picoseconds to extract the item from the box and subsequently flaunt it in front of the camera for you to feast your glorious eyes on. Here we go. The unboxing process is about to commence. It is officially underway. What item have I prompted? What item have I drawn forth? What item have I elicited? That's an enigma. The box can be consigned to the trash. The box can be relegated to the trash. The item is within this envelope. The item is obscured by the envelope. I'm going to ravage the envelope. The integrity of the envelope is about to be compromised. Here we go. The item is sealed eminently well. The seller performed his due diligence. Amid packaging the item, I hope that it was safeguarded amid the transportation process. The item appears to be engulfed in bubble wrap. Alrighty, the envelope is not devoid of its contents. The envelope has no pragmatic use anymore. It has been designated. Alright, here's the original Republic Commando figures. Of course, we have Captain Scorch and we have the other three. I'm unsure what their monikers are at the moment. I have to look them up. I could do that real briefly. Just bear with me one brief moment. I'm going to look them up. But actually, before I do, I just want to scrutinize these figurines real quick and assess their merits. So, they have quality shadings, quality hues, quality textures. They have quality sculpts. They have ample points of articulation. They lack a diaphragm joint. Actually, I revoked my previous statement. Apparently they have diaphragm joints. I didn't think they did. They lack finger joint articulation. They stand roughly 3.75 inches tall, nearly 4 inches tall. They lack articulation in their knee joints. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. I'm going to show the remaining figurines within the lot. I'm going to flaunt them in front of the camera. I believe Scorch is their leader. I recollect paying close to $50 in order to procure these figurines. I may have actually paid more. I would need to double check. I purchased these figurines months ago. Why did I defer unboxing them? Well, I'm on my break now from school. Amid the semester, I was completing a copious amount of assignments, so I decided to unbox them during the course of the break. The winter break is on the cusp of ending. They come with their corresponding accessories. We have two miniature blasters. I hope I didn't lose the other ones. The Captain Scorch has a holster where he can store one of his weapons. If their weapons fell on the floor, it's going to be a nightmare to find them. I thought that they came with their corresponding accessories, but maybe they didn't. Oh, actually they did. They're actually in this bag. The items seem to be dispersed amongst 3 bags. Alright, so I have 4 blasters now. And in conjunction with having 4 blasters, I also have this backpack for one of the figurines. Can these figurines be plastered to the wall? They likely cannot. Can they hover in the air? Unfortunately, they cannot. Are they divine? Are they exquisite? Are they novel? Are they unique? They're decent figurines. Objectively speaking, from an objective standpoint, I would deem these figurines to be relatively mediocre. Why? They're short in stature, in stark contrast to the average figurine that stands 5 to 6 inches tall, so they do not scale eminently well with the 6-inch or 7-inch action figure line. With another gripe I have about these figurines, with a salient issue appertaining to these figurines, you may ask. Well, they lack finger joint articulation, they're not very bulky, they don't seem to come with stands. They lack articulation in the knee joints, so their legs have limited articulation. They cannot be placed into as many dynamic poses as other figurines. Scorch's helmet appears to be scratched. I'm not sure if he was churned out with the helmet marred with scratches, or if the seller inadvertently scratched his helmet. It couldn't have been me. I just opened these figurines and I clipped my fingernails prior to the advent of me unboxing these figurines. I just want to look up their names. I believe one of them may be named Rex or something. Who knows? I used to know their monikers, but I have not played Republic Commando in years, so my memory appertaining to Star Wars Republic Commando has diminished. It has faded. The neurons that I formed amid playing that game have withered away. Perhaps they have disintegrated, who knows? Or perhaps they're stored in the bowels of my mind. Perhaps I'm unable to access them, even when I consult my mental faculties. So let me just look up their names real briefly. Bear with me one brief moment. Alright, I'm still scouring the internet. I'm making an earnest attempt to find their names. So these figurines were originally part of the Star Wars Republic Commando Delta Squad action figure box set. They came bundled with other figurines that I don't have. So they're a part of the Star Wars The Saga collection, Republic Commando, Delta Squad action figure box set. You can type that in on Google and see if you can find these figurines for sale. If you buy them new, they could command a hefty, staggering, whopping premium price of roughly $200. But yeah, if you type in Star Wars Republic Commando Delta Squad action figure box set or Star Wars The Saga Collection Republic Commando Delta Squad action figure box set, it will prompt this particular set of figurines, and you'll be able to procure them if you buy them new or used. So if you purchase this, you get Captain Scorch. You also get 3 Geonosian warriors. I just purchased the Delta Squad separately without the Geonosian warriors, because the Geonosian warriors do not merit the premium prices I command, in my opinion. Though your opinion may be disparate from mine, perhaps you're willing to pay an exorbitant amount of money to acquire those Geonosian warriors. I just wanted the original Delta Squad. So these are the Delta Squad figurines. And I'm still unsure what all their names are. I guess I'll have to look it up later. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I really don't want to dilly-dally on the internet. At the moment, I'd just rather finish this video. So let me flaunt the figurines in front of the camera one more time. We have all 4 figurines derived from the Delta Squad, including their leader, Captain Scorch. Their names are an enigma. I want to show all 4 of them in one shot. Let's see if I can hold all 4 of them without them touching one another, or without compromising the integrity of these figurines. So here are all 4 of them. It bothers me that Scorch's helmet is marred with scratches. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. Here's the third one. And here's the fourth. Here's illustrious, revered Captain Scorch. And of course we have their corresponding armaments, which you can equip at any given moment. These are a bit higher quality than the traditional clone trooper weapons. If you do not know the lore behind the Delta Squad, they're essentially an elite unit, or an elite commando unit that's meant to infiltrate the enemy's front lines, terminate anyone within their vicinity, and not making arbitrary assumptions. But in other words, based on what I can recollect, they're an elite squad that is dispatched to wreak havoc against the adversaries of the Republic, and to dispense with anyone the Republic deems as a threat. Since these are the elite units, they handle special missions that are arduous and cumbersome to complete. So here are the weapons. Their seam lines aren't very noticeable. I love the deco of this figurine. I love the deco of the other figurines within the lot. I love their paint applications. I love their armor. I love how it obscures their face. I don't like the idea that their backpacks are detachable. It renders them more apt to be lost. If they were intact, then I would have a better chance to retain them for the rest of my life. But since I have a proclivity to lose minor items, I'm more apt to lose these items since they're detachable. Their fingers are semi-clenched together so they can wield their blasters with relative ease. They can articulate their arms, their elbows, their legs, their diaphragms, and their heads, or their diaphragm and their head. Well, actually, I guess it would be plural since I'm implicitly referring to all the figurines. So they can articulate their elbows, their arms, their legs, their diaphragms, their heads. They could also rotate their wrists. They can swivel them. They could ascend their feet and descend them at any given moment. They seemingly do not have a microchip embedded within them. It would have been nice if they could output voice commands to converse with one another, and in order to create a cohesive dialogue. These hunks of plastic lack the divine ability to speak. I'm gratified that their mask can't be removed. I prefer if their real faces are obscured by their masks. I don't need anything to render them transparent. I don't need to illuminate their faces. So, they're pretty much armed to the T as an elite unit, or as an elite squadron. Or maybe it wouldn't constitute having one blaster and a backpack correlating with being armed to the T. Perhaps I'm exaggerating a bit. The Republic Commando game was an indelible experience. I will likely never forget it. I love that game. I have fond memories of it. I relish these figurines. I will take a gander at them nearly every day. I'll flaunt them on my shelves. Looking at these figurines, staring at their glorious, marvelous appearances, allows me to become buoyant, jubilant, and content. Or I should say content with my decision to purchase them. I have no qualms about purchasing these figurines. I have no compunction about depleting at least $50 to procure these figurines. I had to relinquish my finite monetary assets and render myself poorer to obtain these figurines, but since these figurines are meritorious, it was a sacrifice that warranted the cost, in my humble, objective opinion. I'm an avid, devout Star Wars fan, so I have a proclivity to love Star Wars action figures. Do you have a propensity to love Star Wars figurines, or do you detest and disdain them? You may detest and disdain them because they're not 6 inches tall. They released an action figure line of Star Wars figurines that stand roughly 6 inches tall. Would you deem those figurines to be more meritorious? I'm unsure. That's also an enigma. The issue with 6-inch figurines that they're significantly more expensive than their 3.75-inch counterparts. They also lack finger joint articulation and lack ample points of articulation. If you're going to fork over a plethora of money, you should receive greater value for your hard-earned money and not have to concede to insipid mediocrity or a mediocre figurine that's shoddy for a $20 figurine. The Toy Biz Marvel Legends figurines, they were $8. They came with a stellar base as well as remarkable accessories. Their features were unprecedented. I love their novelties. I love their intricacies. I love how they had amazing shadings, paint applications, and textures down in the nitty-gritty details. They were really refined, and they emulated their comic book appearances. Sometimes they would also come with an appendage for a 12-inch or 14-inch Build-A-Figure, but today you're lucky if you receive a figurine with some points of articulation, even though it was 250% more expensive. The accessories that the $20 figurines come with are relatively shoddy, in stark contrast to the accessories that the $8 Toy Biz Marvel Legends figurines came bundled with. So the standards have diminished. The standards have unequivocally decreased over the course of time. The trend should be the other way around. It should be the polar opposite. It should be inversed. It shouldn't be where you pay it shouldn't be where you pay 250% more for inferior figurines. But I'm done ranting and raving and blustering about the modern day issues with $20 figurines. In the context of the Republic Commando figurines, the Delta Squad figurines are decent. They're slightly above mediocre with the typical. They're slightly above mediocre when compared to the typical average conventional Star Wars figurine. Their joints seem to be relatively sturdy, so they're not on the precipice of getting destroyed anytime soon. These Republic Commandos are heroic, they're noble, they're valiant, they're audacious, they have no trepidation of their adversaries. They'll charge into the fray of battle and decimate anyone within their vicinity. They have the temerity to undergo missions that other clone troopers wouldn't dare to take on. So this is a great set. Hopefully you can find them at the totality for under $50. If not, if you have to concede to a higher premium price, then you may want to think twice before procuring them. They're decent figurines, but you really shouldn't pay over $12.50 per figurine, in my opinion, unless you are infatuated with Star Wars and deem it to be enthralling and engrossing. So I hope you found this video to be intriguing. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Goodbye.